Welcome back. Today we talk about the ancient Egyptian society classes. Classes of Egyptian society. The social structure of ancient Egyptian society can be classified into a social pyramid headed by the pharaoh and government notables, followed by the class of priests and nobles, and then the class of soldiers and writers, followed by the class of craftsmen, merchants, and finally at the bottom of the pyramid, peasant and slave classes. Pharaoh. The pharaohs possessed absolute power in ancient Egypt, where that power was endowed to them by the gods. The pharaoh was considered the son of the god Ra, and therefore they were considered gods, and the link between humans and the gods, where they implement the wishes of the gods by ruling the country, enacting laws, achieving balance and justice, and protecting the country from any external invasion by owning a strong army, achieving the welfare of the subject, and keeping the gods happy so that the Nile does not overflow, or crops dry up. In addition to that, the pharaoh was the owner of all the lands ancient Egypt, but he could gift any land to whomever he wanted. The minister is considered the second most powerful minister after the pharaoh, and sometimes he held the position of high priest of Amun-Ra, and he was installed by the pharaoh, and his term can continue for several rulers unless the current pharaoh wants to install a new minister. And his most important tasks are the following: supervising the political administration, and all official documents must contain his seal; supervise the tax system, monitoring the supply of foodstuffs, ensure the safety of the royal family, listen to the problems of the nobility, and judge their differences, governing the country in the event of the pharaoh's inability due to illness, injury, young age, or any other reason that prevents the pharaoh from exercising his duties. Priests and nobles. The nobility occupied many government positions in the state, which were only available to the ruling family, and the nobility. And the nobility rules different areas in the state, sets local laws, and owns agricultural land in which the peasant class works. While priests occupied a high rank in ancient Egyptian society, and they were appointed by the pharaoh at first. But then it turned into inheritance, and their task was to serve the gods, and satisfy them by taking care of temples, holding rituals, and various ceremonies in them, and offering offerings to them. Soldiers and writers. The task of soldiers in ancient Egyptian society was to protect the state from external invasion, and to nullify any internal revolutions, as they supervised the workers when building the pyramids. And the soldiers got rich from the spoils of war, and from the gifts of the pharaoh to them. Writers were among the few who could read and write in ancient Egypt, as their task was to keep records of the number of soldiers in the army, records of food production, the number of workers on construction sites, legal contracts, wills, tax records, genealogical records, medical procedures, magic spells, as well as writing the Book of the Dead found in pharaonic tombs. Artisans and merchants. The class of craftsmen contained doctors, painters, sculptors, carpenters, miners, goldsmiths, potters, sculptors, weavers, and sculptors on stone, and merchants were selling the products of craftsmen inside and outside the country. And they brought products from abroad such as elephant tusks, tiger skins, ebony, cedar wood, and giraffe tails to be used as rackets for flies, in addition to animals for temples or palaces such as lions and baboons. Peasants. The peasant class included farmers, servants, and construction workers. And their tasks were limited to cultivating fields, raising livestock, maintaining canals and water reservoirs, in addition to working in quarries, and building royal monuments. Slaves were prisoners of war, as the ancient Egyptians did not have a slave market, and were forced to work in the homes of the nobility, temples, or the ruling family, in addition to being forced to work in construction. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, support us by likes and subscribes.